Okay guys, hey guys, welcome to this Dragonflight Season 4 guide made for Windwalker. My name is Quack, and today we're going to quickly show everything you need to know to start Season 4 with the best performance for Windwalker. Okay, so let's go directly into the stats you need as Windwalker. First, it's very important to notice that there is no real target or numbers to reach. Stats are always evolving dynamically, and you need always to sim yourself, and those values I'm giving to you now are very indicative, but roughly for season 4 this is what you wanna try to have. So verse and mastery, which is kind of equal to critical strike, and even in some situation mastery can be better. So for versatility, you need to be around 30 to 35%. Obviously, it can be higher, it can be lower. It really depends on the sims, and also if you want to survive, for example, high tyrannical keys, you might want this number to be increased to higher values. Verse works as DPS increase, but also survivability. So yeah, always try to make sure you are the good verse if you want, for example, to go to really high tyrannical keys, but this is a good order of magnitude to reach. For mastery, in season 3 the mastery value has been very significantly buffed with different ability buffs we had, and this will buff damage from non-repeated abilities. So if you don't press back to back the same ability, you will get an increased value of this ability. Again, mastery value can be reached with the gear and different embellishments we will go a bit through after, but this is roughly what you want to get. For critical strike, well, let's say you can be around 33 to 35%. Again, really depends on your gear and what you want to do. For haste, well, there is no really cap, so that's why I put between 0 to 15%. It could be even higher if you want. It's not a bad stat, as always pointed out for Windwalker, and this will come naturally with gear, so you don't really have to mind about haste. Just make sure you're know that verse comes first, and then mastery, then critical strike. But again, just sim yourself or ask questions if you're not sure about this. For our tier set now in season 4, this is a tier set from Vault of the Incarnates that has been returned. So this will work as follows. So after pressing Feast of Fury, our Resin Sun Kick, which is basically single target or low cleave, or Spinning Crate Kick in AoE or buffed, and then those kicks will birth in return the next Feast of Fury. So we will see a bit later how this tier set will impact our rotation, but actually this has a minimal impact on it because it's really natural to press those abilities in single target low cleave or AoE. Again, for gear, always sim yourself when it comes to gear. What we will give here are very indicative things, and it's always evolving dynamically, so make sure to sim yourself. The first thing, before anything, you need to get your 4 parts, so your new tier set in priority, and this is regardless the proposed gear you can find in any website. Even if the part is not in what we so-called the BIS list, which is a bit outdated concept, but whatever, just get your 4 part first, and then, and only then, you can start thinking about what you want to do. For raid or single target, these are the rings and the trinkets you want to get. So for ring, you want to get the Seal of Jorna Chosen, which is dropping on Eranog in Vault, and Signet of Titanic Insight, which is a crafted item. For the trinket, you will aim for Ashes of Embersoul and the Cataclysmic Signet brand. Those trinkets are dropping from Smolderon in the last raid of Season 3. There are other trinkets you can actually use in raid in single targets. For example, the Grief Torch, which is coming from Diurna, but also the Call to Domination trinket, which those trinkets are very depending on the fight length. If you can, for example, have a full use of Call to Domination, and if you got, for example, damage amp phase such as Smolderon or Gnarl Root. For the weapon in raid or single target, you want to get the Jarun. This is just the best weapon you can get for this season, and this will actually be your base for all contents, Raid or Mythic Plus. You really need to get this weapon in high priority. For embellishment now, well, as we said, Mastery had a very increased value since Season 3, and there is no reason this value is not increasing in Season 4. So for your crafted pieces, you want to use this embellishment, which is called blue silicone lining, which is often referred as BSL. For red content, you may want to use BSL on the neck and ring, so you can get maximum agility, so primary stats on other pieces of gear. For Mythic Plus, you can basically have two options for the gear. Obviously, you need to get your full part, but for rings, the first option is this one, which is exactly the same as in Raid, so Seal of Journey Chosen and Signet of Titanic Insight. Those rings are very powerful because it provides high secondary stats, and also Journey Chosen, well, it's just damage, so we always take damage. Regardless it's low, it's still damage, so we take it. There is a second option, which is if you want to get more tankiness in Mythic Plus. In that case, you need to combine 3 pieces of gear: the Ouroboreal Necklet from Volcaros, the Seal of Journey Chosen, and the Seal of Filial Duty, which is dropping from Diurna. With those 3 pieces together, you can actually get shield that will help, for example, surviving in high tyrannical keys. But again, this needs to be considered for really very extreme case if you need more tankiness. This is just a second option you can consider for Mythic Plus. For the weapon again, well, as we said, Jarwan is the best weapon regardless the content, so just drop it, just take it and just enjoy the Jarwan. For trinkets in Mythic Plus, it's actually a different story. There are 2 major capstones you can choose, and we'll see in the talents a bit later on, which are Storm, Earth and Fire and Serenity. Depending on which capstone you choose to play, you will try to aim different trinkets in Mythic Plus. In Raid was another story. If you play Storm, Earth and Fire, you want to use those 2 trinkets: Ashes of Embersoul dropping from Smolderon, Netharion Call to Dominance dropping from Netharion in Everus. You can also replace Ashes if you want to with another trinket, such as that trinket, for example the Omnius Essence from Experiment or the Icon from Council in the Vault of the Incarnates. You can also replace it with Grief Torch if you want to use it a bit more often. Very important thing, do not run Boon even if you think it's a DPS increase. It's actually not, and also it's a very risky trinket that has been way nerfed now. If you run Serenity, Call to Domination or Ashes are not really mandatory if you want to really get high value of Serenity. Here we propose 2 trinkets that works pretty well. Sorry for the item level, it's outdated, but obviously we'll find the proper item level in the game. So those trinkets are Grief Torch and Whispering Incarnate Icon, or for example the Essence from Aberrus if you want to run another stat trinket. As I said, Call to Domination is not mandatory, but you can actually, if you want, run Ashes and Call to Domination trinkets. For this case, and only this case, you need to synchronize Xuen and Serenity. In any other case, we can just desynchronize those abilities, which means you will just press Serenity when it comes off cooldown and Xuen when it comes off cooldown. Bandolier can be an option as well for another DPS trinket if you want to. Again, it's very flexible, and Sims have shown a very range of trinkets that can be suitable for Serenity. Again, just play what you want. Special note for Ashes and Call to Domination: if you play both, really be careful with aggro, which can be a very important issue if you run with Serenity. For embellishment in Mythic Plus, regardless, Storm of Fire or Serenity build, you can just run the same as in Raid. So you will run Blue Silicon Lining for Mastery. You want to use BSL neck and ring again, but if you go for Volcaros neck, you can craft the second embellishment with 2 basically low agility pieces such as Cloak, Wrist or Waist. Obviously if you need combat res wrist, you can just put on waist and cloak, which have the lowest agility budget. So you will have the lowest agility loss if you use those embellishments on those two pieces. Just do what you want here. For bullion, in Season 4 you can buy a piece of gear from raid using a currency which is called bullion or dinar from Shadowland. Every week you gain 1 bullion and each piece of gear costs 2 bullion. So the first priority here is to get the Jaroon and then the Grief Torch. So if you don't drop those items in raid, just spend first your bullion with the Jaroon and then the Grief Torch, because those weapons and trinkets are always useful and can be used in any situation. If then you go for raid, this is the path you can use. So you can buy first Ashes, then the seal from Eranog, then the Signet brand, because you can actually run Ashes and the Grief Torch in the meantime, then the Journal Ring, and then the necklace if you want, for example, in the late season. If you go for Mythic Plus and you run with Storm of Fire, you can just run, you first sell the Call to Domination trinket, then the Ashes, then the Eranog Ring, then the Journal Ring, and then the Ouroboros from Volocro's neck. If you run Serenity, again, you don't have to run neither Call to Domination or Ashes. So I propose here to run first and to buy first a stat trinket, then you can run the Eranog Ring, then Ashes of Ember Soul, then the Journal Ring, and then again the necklace. Now for talents. This is the standard build we are going to use in Raid, which is based on the Jet Firestomp on the bottom right. It's very classic and this is the same build as in Season 3. The only personal preference here is that you can actually swap Serenity here to Storm of Fire if you want to, but you will lose a bit of DPS in single target, but that's fine. It's just your personal preference again. If you go for Mythic Plus, this is the build that is highly recommended, regardless tyrannical or Fortify week. This build revolves around Storm of Fire and Bondur's Brew and Touch of Death's talents. If you want more information about those builds, I highly recommend you to go on Warhead or Peak of Serenity website to get more insight of those talents. Again, you can just swap if you want talents such as Storm of Fire in favor of Serenity, or you can just remove the Bondur's Brew and pick Fury of Xuen instead. You will lose a bit of DPS obviously in high AoE situation, but again, it's your preference. For class 3 now, this is what you can do. There are a lot of flexible talents and a lot of things you don't have to take. In green, these are the talents you always pick. In orange, those talents are situational. For example, if you don't need a detox or a dispel, you don't have to. If you don't need, for example, the avoidance or high healing your output, you don't have to. You just choose what you want. Same for dampen arm or extra roll. Again, just make sure you understand what you take and just adapt your talent tree with your composition group and your dungeon or raid. Okay, now let's break into the rotation or the priority system for Monk. Let's first dig into the single target if you run with Serenity. This is the classic opener. So you wanna first send your Xuen, then your Jet Firestomp, then your Bondur's Brew. Then you will send your Tiger Palm. This helps stalling your Skyreach window, which is your high burst window. So you wanna just first make sure you prepare your Skyreach window before pressing Serenity. Then when you press Serenity, you send Fist of Fury that you will cancel instantly for Rising Sun Kick, and then strike up the Windlord. At this point you need to follow the priority, which is the following. If the debuff of Jet Firestomp is about to fade, just press it. If, for example, your Rising Sun Kick is buffed with the tier set, so this is when you press Fist of Fury, just press it. Then comes Strike on the Windlord, then Fist of Fury, you cancel Feast of Fury if high priority spell comes, such as Strike of the Windlord or obviously the Rising Sun Kick. If you get a Kiji proc, you press your Spinning Crank Kick after Feast of Fury, and then you get Blackout Kick. Obviously, just press Rising Sun Kick between your Feast of Fury and the proc of Kiji if you want. I didn't put it, but it's pretty well. That's pretty obvious anyway. So for example, in this situation, after you strike off the Windlord, if you follow the priority, you will do a Blackout Kick and then probably another Rising Sun Kick. And then it will depend, for example, if your Feast of Fury is back or not. For Storm of Fire, it's basically kind of the same. The same logic applies. You wanna first prepare your Xuen, Jetfire Stomp, and Bundus Brew. Then you can press your Storm of Fire. Because of the longer duration of the buff, you can actually press your Tiger Palm just after Storm of Fire. Then you can press Strike of the Windlord, Feast of Fury, and then another Tiger Palm to get your key back, and then a Rising Sun Kick. Here, you can notice we never cancel Feast of Fury with Storm of Fire. Never, ever, regardless single target or AoE. Then after this, you follow again the priority, which is very similar to what we have seen in Serenity. That's almost the same, and that's actually the same. If your debuff is about to fade for Jetfire Storm, press it. Then you got Rising Sun Kick, then you Strike on the Windlord, then your Feast of Fury, then your Rising Sun Kick unbuffed, which is in the similar position as Serenity, and then the Kiji proc, and then the Blackout Kick. So for example, in this situation, depending on the key you have left, you either have to build your key to get, for example, a Blackout Kick, or you can just press Blackout Kick after this and see how it goes. Because of the high RNG procs and different procs, it's very hard to give you like a proper opener till the end, but this you will make sure you get the maximum DPS with your big hitters using Storm of Fire in single targets. Let's go now into the AoE priority with Serenity. This priority comes, let's say, after 2 or even 3 targets. For the opener, it's very similar to what we have. So here, what we want to do is to press your Xuen, then your Bundus Brew. The Tiger Palm can be, for example, put before pressing your Serenity, so you start your Skyreach window directly with Serenity. Again, you would cancel your Feast of Fury to make 2 higher priority spell. In that case, Strike on the will come first, then we'd use Spinning Crank Kick, then Blackout Kick, then Spinning Crank Kick. Then you just follow the priority, which is very simple in AoE. The Kiji proc come first, then the Strike of the Windlord, then the Feast of Fury, and you cancel for higher priority spell, so either the Kiji proc or the Strike of the Windlord. Then it's just Spinning Crank Kick to Blackout Kick. In that situation, we can imagine after this, we would have pressed Blackout Kick and maybe another Feast of Fury cancel, only if you got, well, a proc of Kiji or Strike of the Windlord. Really, it really depends on a lot of parameters here. For Storm of Fire, the priority is the follow. The difficulty of Storm of Fire is that you need to build key before actually sending your AoE. So to do so, you can, for example, start using Tiger Palm and Blackout Kick in secondary targets. So, for example, while the tank is actually gathering mobs, and then when you got your full key, you can also use Key Burst, Expel Arm, etc. You can start your burst. So you start with your Xuen and your Storm of Fire. Press directly here Strike of the Windlord, and then you want to press your Bundus Brew, so you can actually proper start your AoE rotation. So you will send Bundus Brew, Feast of Fury, never cancel it, use Tiger Palm to get key back, and then you go to Spin, Crank Kick, and then Blackout Kick. Again, you can just follow the priority, which is the follows. So you get your Kiji proc first, you Strike off the Windlord, your Feast of Fury, never cancel it in Storm of Fire, then it comes with Spinning Crank Kick with Bundus Brew, and then Blackout Kick. So here, for example, you will have probably do another spinning crane kick and then probably need to refound your key with a tiger palm. Again, it really depends on your reset, your key, procs, etc. Also, never break mastery when it comes to bonus brew. It's not worth. These are useful resources to finish this small video. If you need more information and more detailed, for example, openers, priority systems, you can go on peakofserenitywebsite.com or go directly into the Discord. There are a lot of people that will help answering your questions. You can even post logs. You can even, I don't know, post whatever you want. They will help you. If you are more interested about Windwalker in depth, I also invite you going into my Twitch channel Quàck or in my YouTube channel, which is the same. And also you can listen, sometimes we do with theorycrafters and Windwalker veterans podcast, which is called Skyreach in You, where we actually go through Windwalker rotation, gear, trinket, and other questions that can be useful. I also present 2 streams I really like watching. They're really good Windwalkers, and they'll also always answer questions. You have Seryuku TV and Babylonius that can help you on Twitch. That's it for the video. If you have any question, you can just put on your comments below or go into my Twitch channel or even my Discord if you want to. And I wish you a very good day and good luck with Windwalker. Peace.